Well, fall is in full season, and that means it is pumpkin picking time. Whether you're decorating your front porch, perhaps carving a jack-o'-lantern, or you just want a pumpkin that'll last through Thanksgiving, there's a perfect pick out there for you. So joining us today is Jim Lowe from Lowe Family Farmstead to share his expert tips on how to choose the best pumpkin for every fall occasion. So great to have you here.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing part of the farm here into studio.
You bet, that's the best part.
Yes, it is, and there are so many varieties. If you've never been out to Lowe Family Farmstead, it is just jaw-dropping at the options that you have. And I love to talk through some of the ones that you brought, right? Because many people are gonna be out there, they're trying to pick out the perfect pumpkin, but not really knowing what to look for. So I wanna talk about some of the varieties that you brought, and then also how can we make sure that our pumpkin's lasting as long as we hoped for it to last. You know, someone might want something just for carving, right? So what did you bring today that you would suggest would be good for carving? I'd imagine this guy necessarily you wouldn't want to carve, right?
Well, you could, but that might not be his primary use.
Yes.
He's got some other features. But yeah, pumpkins are a lot of fun. They're like people, they've got so many different personalities. We grow 60 different varieties of pumpkins.
Wow.
So probably the first thing you want to look for is what's your use.
Okay.
You want to make an array with some different color. Are you looking for a carving pumpkin? You're looking for a tabletop centerpiece, and start there.
Okay, all right. So let's talk though too about the different varieties that you have here. What would you do with something like this? Is this more of just like a display? I mean, the stem is incredible on this pumpkin.
Yeah, you know, I always say that a pumpkin is the most important part. I mean, a stem is the most important part of a pumpkin.
Okay.
So, you know, you love to look for that right pumpkin, but the stem can really make it. And that's something that we pride ourselves on at Lowe Family Farmstead is selecting unique varieties that really feature these awesome stems. So yeah, this is a good flat bottom pumpkin. It'd be great in a display on a front porch or even inside. You could carve it, but you don't have a lot of space right here. It's pretty thick fleshed, and so there might be other varieties that are better suited for carving.
Okay, and I love the varieties that you have over here. This really thin one, it almost kind of reminds me of a squash, the way that it's shaped. And then all these different colors and textures. These are the type that I really love to put like on a front patio or a porch, maybe even make somewhat into like a centerpiece on your dining table around Thanksgiving. Would these varieties last that long if we wanted to get them for that porch decoration now, since it's pumpkin season's kicking off, but would it last all the way through Thanksgiving?
Yeah, you bet. So especially these kind of squarish pumpkins are really thick fleshed.
Okay.
And they last very well. This pumpkin variety is called flat stacker. And so you can imagine people like to make towers and find different gradients of colors and sizes.
Okay.
And so yeah, these square, blocky, and flat pumpkins tend to last very well.
All right, so if we come out to Lowe Family Farmstead, we're gonna pick a pumpkin. Help us make sure that we're picking not only the right one for the need, but one that's gonna last long. What are some of the things we need to look for?
Well, so you want a pumpkin that's in good, healthy condition. So you want to be sure that it's matured well. Let's take a look at this pumpkin right here. This is a pumpkin that looks great right now. It's gonna look great for the next week or two, but it's probably not gonna last till Thanksgiving.
And why is that?
You can see that it was kind of a late set fruit, and this stem is kind of shriveled up and didn't fully mature.
So the stem's kind of telling.
Yeah, so that's kind of a clue of if it's mature or not. And then back here you can see that there's some little holes where maybe something has eaten it or so it's kind of starting its decay process. So you can look wisely and
I'm going to turn that again
just
a little bit more to the camera so people can see what that decay or maybe that little bug snack time looks like on a pumpkin, right? So maybe the little critters know that this pumpkin is on its way out, so they're trying to dine on it a little bit. And you can actually see, now I'm seeing some of the bruising here too. All right, so that's a sign then that this guy is beyond his prime.
Yeah, well, so any blemish or any injury to the pumpkin is going to accelerate its decline. So if you, if you roll it across the ground and rock sticks into it, that's going to accelerate its decline. So you really want to protect that pumpkin, really treat it like a prize that it is. Here's an example of a pumpkin that's gonna last pretty well. It's a good jack-o'-lantern carving pumpkin.
That's perfect for a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Look at that smooth face. Like you can cut a lot on this.
Oh yeah.
This is great. A nice solid stem,
texture. The stem is solid.
Great.
And yeah, I mean, you know, every pumpkin has its unique features. That's the fun of it. No two are exactly the same.
Yeah, that's what I love about it too, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can let the shape of the pumpkin inspire what you're gonna carve it into.
Absolutely.
Sometimes there's ones that have like the little warts on them that you're like, oh, this would be a great witch, right?
Yeah, you
Or
bet.
you could turn it into whatever you can imagine when you look at it. All right, so you were saying when we're picking pumpkin dough too, making sure that we're treating it like the gem that it is, meaning that we're taking care of it when we're picking it, that we're not dropping it, that it's going into the wheelbarrow. You've provided one here as a great example for us. And then you even mentioned to me maybe bringing a box to safeguard it on the travel home to make sure it's not rolling around the back and getting all bumped
Yeah,
up.
you don't want to roll around in the back of your car, in the trunk or whatnot. One thing that is a common mistake is that people will grab that pumpkin by its stem to lift it up.
Oh.
And a pumpkin stem is called a handle. You can use it as a handle, but there's also a risk that that's going to break off, especially if it's kind of a unique stem or
Okay.
one that pulls off to the side like this.
Yes.
Then that stem breaks. Not only have you lost your stem, there's a good chance that you've either damaged, injured, or broken your pumpkin.
Got it. Okay. And then when we go to the farm and we want to pick our pumpkin, what's the best way to break it off on a vine?
Yeah, so this one has its vine still intact, so you can kind of see it. A lot of times people will grab that pumpkin and just yank on it.
Okay.
And again, that's very hazardous to the stem. You might lose
Understood.
the best part of your pumpkin. So, but if you can identify the end of the stem where it meets the vine, and that's the weak spot right there. And if you just bend that vine right at that spot,
Oh,
then it
look
comes
how
off very
easily you just kind of peeled that off.
Yep, so you don't need a knife or anything like that. You've got all the way to the end of the stem. You don't have a knife cut like you're going to see at the grocery store a lot
Yes.
for efficiency, but by hand, you can take it off very easily and preserve that entire stem.
I feel so prepared now to come on out and pick my pumpkin for not only for Halloween, but also for the fall season, get those decorations. Some pumpkins too, I know, actually cook up well, right?
You bet.
So they could be decoration now, and then later we can turn them into pie or soup.
Yeah,
So they don't
absolutely.
just go in the trash can if they're still living well, right? They're still doing well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of these pumpkins are edible. Most all pumpkins are.
Yeah.
A few trends that you might look out for. Usually a heavily warded pumpkin
'Kay.
is going to have more of a hard rind and not as good at eating flesh. If you really want the best for cooking,
Yes.
there are pie variety pumpkins. This is a pie type pumpkin right here.
Oh, yes. Aren't these called like something sweet because they tend to be sweeter?
Yeah,
Or-
so this variety is small sugar.
Small sugar. There you go.
But
See?
there's pick a pie. There are a whole bunch of different pie
Okay.
varieties, and they're all relatively small, and they are very well suited for baking with.
All right, well, we can get all this at the Lowe Family Farmstead. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you're out in Kuna. Not only do you have pumpkins, you have all kinds of wonderful entertainment things for families. You have the bouncing bean, I think is what I always
Yeah,
call it with
the
my
corn
kids.
poppers.
The corn poppers, all the wonderful fun things. It's a great way to celebrate the fall season and get ready for not only Halloween, but for Thanksgiving and the like.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you coming out here. Everyone stick around. We got more fun fall ideas coming up right after the break.